Sequoia, Gold Rush, Highway 1, Laguna, El Capitan, Surfrider, Kahuna, Mission, Cruising, and the Bay, which is where I'm from. So I'm gonna swatch this to show you guys the colors, not really row by row, but kind of how I would apply the eyeshadow. So from like lightest to darkest, and then the shimmers on top. So the first color is Gnarly, and it is just a very like skin tone shade. There are a lot of shades like this in palettes that you kind of just use as your base color. As you can kind of see, it doesn't really show up on my skin tone. It's basically the same color. And I don't love these colors. But what I've learned to do with them is there's like a technique called a cut crease. And usually you would do that with concealer. But for like a soft cut crease, you can use an eyeshadow color like this. So I'm probably not going to swatch all of these, you know, really light tones from all the palettes because it's going to show up like this. Alright, so now we have like some yellowy orange tones. Oh wait, let's do the Bay first because that is a great transition color. It's like a brown, a neutral, warm tone brown. And I really love this all over my lids. Alright, for Laguna, it's like a yellowy orange color. And then for an even brighter shade that's more yellowy, we have Sequoia. This is one of my favorite shades. I really didn't think I would like it that much, but it is like a reddish brown. So you can start with any of these 5 colors all over the lid, and then I'll darken it up with these 2 darker shades. We have this really warm tone brown, and it has gold specks all throughout. So you can kind of see that when you're, you can kind of see that all over the lid. We have this darker, more cool tone shade. So those are all the mattes. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mattes, and the rest are shimmers. Now with this color, I love this shimmery version of it. I'll put it right next to it. It's like exactly a shimmery version. A very similar shade is Surfrider. It's just a little bit of a lighter shade. Then we have Cruising, which is great to pair with some of those yellowy orange shades. And then Diego is just a bronze shade. Finally, we have a pressed glitter called El Capitan. And you know what? A lot of YouTube hates pressed glitter to the point where they don't even buy palettes with it. They refrain and boycott. And, you know, that's totally fair because glitter is a microplastic. And it can end up in the ocean and affect marine life. But, you know, like, this palette already has glitter in it, so the problem is that, like, a lot of YouTube doesn't like pressed glitter, so I really don't know how to use it very well. As you can kind of see, it's not super even. What I usually do is, like, tap it all over the lid for a little bit of glitter, but then it's not very even. So Lucido, Wild Soul, Mesmerize, Sandalwood, In a Wink, Euphoric, Canela, Lomo, Emerald Dream, Muse, Divina, Flex, Nostalgia, Moody, Nocturne, and Misbehave. This palette is mostly mattes, but their mattes are so beautiful and lovely. They blend out very smoothly, and sometimes I don't even add a shimmer just because the mattes alone look so beautiful. So let's start with those. These first two are the lightest colors, and again, they're not going to really show up, but you can use them as highlight or soft cut crease. But the first one we have is Yellow Soul, and it is a yellow color, like a mustard color. Then we have Euphoric, which is just a bright orange, a little bit pink. Then we have Lomo, which is a hot pink, and I use this just as a single shadow all over, and it was so beautiful. This is also one of my favorite colors. It is a like rose tone shade, and to deepen that color up, I use this darker magenta shade. And then the darkest palette, or the darkest color in this palette, is Divina. So I love doing these three colors together. It's like romantic and soft and just very pretty. I feel very pretty using it. Then we have Canela, which isn't completely matte. There are some glitters in it, but it's very pretty. And if you want to love it sparkle throughout your eyes. Then we have this green shade. It is so creamy. It's like a forest green. So these are all the mattes, and they are just so beautiful. I love the color story. You have like yellows to purples, and then these like two fun colors. Now for our shimmers, we have Mesmerize, which is similar to this orangey color, but it's a lighter shimmer. This is like an orange shimmer versus this a little bit more pink. Then we have Nocturne, which with these colors I think are so beautiful. And I also like to use this as well. This is a very unique shade. Flex, it's super textured. It's like a brown shimmer, and it almost reflects silver. We have Emerald Dream, which pairs perfectly with that green color. And finally, one of my favorite shades is Lucido, because it is the perfect highlight for any of the shades. And those are all the shimmers. I really, really enjoy this palette. I love the color story. I feel so inspired to use this even now after I've had it for a while. I look at it and I just see so many different color combinations. So this one is definitely a winner. And if you like, these shades, I highly recommend this palette. browsing through Sephora and Ulta, and I saw this palette for 50% off. And it is from the brand mcgrath Labs, which is one of the most expensive eyeshadow brands. Their normal palettes have, I think, like 8 shades, and they're like $125. So I bought this for only $15. And this is their ecstasy palettes that they launched to kind of reach a different audience, you know, an audience that doesn't have $125 to spend on eyeshadow. And I think it's, you know, it worked because I now have this palette, and I get to try Pat McGrath's formula without spending so much. So there are only 5 shades in here, and I wouldn't really create a look with just this palette. I use this as maybe like I'll pick one of these colors and then use my other palettes as well. So the 5 shades are Lapis Luxury, Gold Standard, Crimson Fire, Blue Blood, and Synthetica. So we have 4 shimmers, and this is more of like a sheen. We have this blue with kind of like silver glitters, a yellow, like a deeper red shade, this is kind of like a burgundy, almost brown color, and this is my favorite shade. It is purple, and there are pink and blue glitters throughout. So this is a really compact and cute little palette, and it let me like try different colors that I didn't already have without getting like a whole bunch of colors that I already had. So these are the 3 palettes that I had up to this point, and then my birthday came, and I asked Kay if he could, you know, do a little bit of research and just find an eyeshadow palette that he thought I would like. I'm not gonna be super picky, just it'll be cool to see what you pick. So we went into Ulta and he picked one out, and I was really excited. I couldn't wait to use it, and it was very pretty, and I'll show you in a second what it is. And then he got another one while we were in Ulta. Then when we were in the car, he said he had 2 more coming in the mail. So he got me 4 eyeshadow palettes, and I was honestly shocked and so happy. That basically doubles my collection. And you'll see he really did research and figured out which colors I didn't have, and little special things, and I'm really excited to show you guys. So let's get into those palettes. The first palette Kate got me is Amrezy by Anastasia Beverly Hills, or ABH. This is super pink and glittery, which is not really my style, but I still think it's pretty, and luckily none of the glitters fall off. Now, I love this palette. I think it is so good. I'll explain why in a second, but first we have 18 shades to read, the lightest being Wasted, Barb, Liddy, Cupcake, Dragon, Leo, Gemini, Georgina, Rezi, Anastasia, tastes super good. I feel like when I get back to work, I'll use this a ton because it feels like a very everyday friendly palette, because first of all, the shades are crazy pigmented, like just a little bit. They're really easy to like apply the color and then blend it out, and I feel like the color story also makes it so easy for you to create a look when you're like, you know, you just woke up and you gotta get to work soon, because there are 3 kind of transition shades that you start with, and most of the looks kind of, you know, whichever one you pick, either pulls you towards like a more browny look or more like magenta look. So you start with either New York or OG, and these colors are, oh my god, it's so pigmented. But anyways, these colors are very similar. I think they look almost the same on the eyes, so I'm not like stoked that I've pretty much the same 2 colors in a palette, but it's fine. We'll start a magenta column. So you have these 2 as your base, and then you use these 3 shades to darken up the look. So we have like a brown, and then a plum shade, and then we have this black, and this is the only black I have in my collection, so a lot of times I'll just sit this palette out so I can use that black. And black is great for deepening literally any color. You would think it looks kind of muddy, but it doesn't. So just these shades alone. I did this look yesterday and it was stunning. Like in all matte, you don't even have to apply any shimmers, but then you have all these gorgeous shimmers. Okay, I just came back and washed off my fingers, but let's get into these shimmers. On this pink side, we have 4 different types of shimmers. First one being Barb, and this is like a silver tone. It kind of reflects bluish. Bluish greenish, or bluish pinkish. Then we have Cupcake, which I use, you know, you can use in the inner corner or just all over the lid. Anastasia is more of a peach tone that would be great with these bronze shades as well. And then we have amrezy, which I haven't used yet, but it is just a hot pink. I think it would be great with that other hot pink that I have from the Through My Eyes palette. And then we have Dragon, which is just a yellowy bronze shade, and Georgina, slightly darker. As for the 2 glitters, we have, oh my god, this is like coming out of the packaging, Liddy, which is like a rose gold glitter, and Gemini, more of a deeper, it has gold and black. So those are, oh, I totally forgot about Leo. Leo is kind of a weird color I haven't used yet, but I feel like it would be nice over the black. But there isn't really anything to pair with it, so I sometimes forget about it. But overall, this palette is incredible. I totally understand the hype behind ABH, and this isn't even a palette that a lot of people talk about. So if I think this palette is great, I can't even imagine the quality and color stories of some of the other palettes. It's just such a great universal, like everyday palette. You can do a pink look or a bronze look, and then to really, you know, have a challenge, you can try to use that blue shade. pronounce them, but they are all of African origin, and some of them are named after goddesses. For example, this one, Ozan, I think, is named after the goddess of fertility and femininity. Aja or Aya is the goddess of forests and forest creatures. So it's like a really dark green. We have Yamoja or Yamoya, and it is a goddess. She's a goddess of oceans and pregnant women because she is said to have given birth to all the oceans. So that's pretty cool. We have 2 rows of warm tones and then 2 rows of cool tones. The first one is a gold shade. Or like a yellow, it's more yellow. And this is so beautiful. And that's why I don't really use like my mcgrath one, because the colors are pretty similar. I don't use the yellow in this one. Next we have a like orangey pumpkin shade. And kind of similar to that, I would use this brown shade with it. This is a great transition color. Let's do this one. It's like a similar called Trance. And it is from their pastel tie-dye collection. This is their blue, pink, and purple version. And all of the names are spirituality related. We have Clarity, Mind's Eye, Daydream Baby, Future Self, All Aura Again, Crown Chakra, Transcend Dance, Own Your Power, and Up Level. We have a row of blues, some purple tones, and pink tones. So the first color is a Super Shock formula, and that is Colourpop's special formula. It's like a little bit wet and slippery. So this is kind of a topper shade. It reflects bluish purple, but there's no like color, as you can see. So it's good over like another matte or in the inner corner, like in a very concentrated amount. Then we'll just go through the blues. This is a light blue shade. And then a dark blue. Not a dark blue, like a sky blue. A shimmery lilac. Well, this one is a glitter, which I'll do last, since glitter gets everywhere. Even lighter purple shade. Yeah, these don't swatch very well because I don't know, pastels don't really swatch well. But it is the color of the band, and to be fair, when you put these on your eyes, they're very vibrant, and I love the look of pastels. It kind of reminds me of like if I was in middle school and I wore eyeshadow. If anyone did, it would be like a blue color. So there's a sparkly pink and a purple. I don't know, it's like pinkish purple. Sorry, these swatches aren't really great, but they do pretty much show up how they look in the pan. Alright, so All Aura Out is a glitter. And it has all different shapes. They reflect blue, green, and purple. So those are all the shades, and again, I think this color store is really fun. I don't have any pastels, which is why Kate got it. And using pastels is a different challenge. Also, isn't the packaging so cute? I love the holographic pixel hearts. The next palette is Garden Variety. This is their summer collection, and it is covered in succulents, and they're all raised, so it feels really cool. On the back, we have all the shade names in these little bubble letters, except for 3 shades in the succulent emblem. I'm not sure why these specific shades and why this specific color because that's not even the color. They're in the package, inside the palette. Even though ColourPop is so affordable, all their palettes packaging is so beautiful and unique. And you can see it on the inside as well. Oh, also, you can kind of see there's outlines in the background of the shadows. In this palette, we have 15 shades. Deserted, Herbivore, Synergy, Wavelength, Prickly Please, Third Eye, Best Buds, Smudge Off, Don't Leaf, Over the Bloom, Stay Sharp, Sucka for You, Stock on You, Clay Day, and Root 'em Up. You can kind of see there are rows, or sorry, columns. You can look at them as columns. So this is like a golden look. You can do a magenta, purpley shade, and then like a peach tone. Let's get to swatching. This first row, we have like a really light, almost white color, a sparkly beige, two shimmers, which I'll swatch later, and then this peach skin tone color. But I would start with these transition colors. So we have a corally shade. You could deepen it up with this shade. This is more berry toned. And then keep going. Even darker. And all of these shades have a silvers, glitters, or silver shimmers throughout it. So it looks very pretty on the eyes. Stuck on You is an all matte shade. So you can really see this gradient that we're building up. You could do a brown. And then this color is almost like a dirt color. So those are all our like semi-matte transition shades. Getting into these shimmers, we have a almost icy purple tone. This is pretty cool on top of purple because it brings out the purple underneath, but it makes it more icy white. Then we have just, your classic pinky purple shimmer. A gold color. It's a little bit green. Another light champagne color. We have a peach tone, and I believe this is a super shock because it feels slippery and nice. Oh my god. I have not used this, but I instantly want to. It just feels so soft. And then, of course, when you look at this, you're like immediately drawn to the green. And I think in this palette, when you use it with the rest of the colors, it looks more yellowy lime. But I'll show you in a second how I use it with the next palette I have. is known for their cheek highlighters. So this middle shade is their highlighter formula, but in an eyeshadow color. Now this palette is great in companionship with the Garden Variety palette because, whoops, you have this green shade, then there's no really other green shades in this palette, but it pairs perfectly with this palette. It's kind of an in-between shade between these two. And you can kind of see that there aren't a lot of dark colors in this palette. That is where this dark dirt color is really great to deepen out those shades. So I really love these two together. And that is the Ofra Empowered palette. So those are all of my palettes, all 8 of them, and I hope you liked watching this video.